The courtroom was colder than I'd imagined, bright, polished, to clean. As though the sterility could dull the truth, the wood paneling gleamed under artificial lights, and the judge, a man worn down by years of routine, barely lifted his head. But her voice, my daughter's voice, cut through it all like glass breaking under pressure. "You were never there for us," she said, trembling with fury. "Mom's boyfriend is our real dad now." She was 16. Her hands shook, her voice cracked, but the anger in her eyes was steady, almost rehearsed. Her mother stood behind, her lips curled in a faint, triumphant smile, the kind stage magicians wear when they know their sleight of hand has fooled the audience. I didn't speak. I didn't flinch. I knew this script too well. The ruling came quickly, without pause. She got everything: the house, primary custody, full spousal support. The judge muttered the decisions as though reading from a menu, barely acknowledging the wreckage they left behind. I remained still, silent. I had no need to plead my case. Instead, I reached into my folder and placed a single photo on the table. Small, grainy, clear. My daughter's voice faltered mid-accusation. Her eyes locked on the image. That's from the night she began. And then everything shifted. The courtroom, once smug with certainty, turned heavy with silence. The bailiff moved before the judge even spoke. 2 officers were summoned. My ex-wife's face went pale, drained of blood and performance. That was the moment the truth arrived, not with drama, but with undeniable weight. But that wasn't where it began. 8 months earlier, I'd been in bed when her phone lit up at 2:13 a.m. A name I didn't recognize: Daniel. It flashed, faded, and flashed again, 5 times. I didn't wake her. I didn't ask. I got out of bed quietly, walked to the kitchen, and stared at the half-full bottle of white wine she always insisted on keeping chilled. I poured it down the sink, slowly, and let the silence fill me. That was all the emotion I allowed myself that night. The next morning, she laughed like nothing had happened, kissed me lightly on the cheek, and asked if I could drive our daughter to school. That's when something in me changed. I stopped being a husband. I became a witness, an archivist, a strategist. I replaced emotion with observation, grief with calculation. 2 weeks later, I pretended to work late. I parked 3 blocks away, walked home quietly through the back alley, and watched from across the street. At exactly 9:48 p.m., he arrived. Daniel, tall, confident, entitled. He used his own key. I didn't storm in. I didn't rage. I waited. A week later, I slipped a printed bank receipt into a dusty old cookbook she hadn't touched in years. It showed a transfer I'd made to her account, the same one she'd sworn never arrived. She didn't react, just quietly threw it in the trash. That told me everything. 2 days later, I left my passport open on the counter, the page clearly displaying the truth. No international travel for over 3 years. She had told others I'd disappeared, fled the country, abandoned them. The passport sat untouched for a week before she moved it to a drawer, never saying a word. She'd failed the test. Then came the papers delivered with clinical courtesy. The divorce filing was expected. So was her smirk when I received it. Daniel stood behind her, his hand on her shoulder like he already belonged. Our daughter stopped, speaking to me not long after. I didn't blame her. She was 16, and 16-year-olds believe the world as it's explained to them, especially when the version they're handed comes wrapped in warmth, gifts, and easy lies. The betrayal didn't come like a dagger, it came like frost, quiet, creeping. I didn't retaliate. I gathered emails, text messages, bank records, GPS logs, footage from the home security system she'd forgotten I installed. I archived everything, dated it, stored it in 3 places. She went public with her accusations, painted me online as a villain, said I'd abandoned her, gambled our money away, cheated endlessly. Friends grew distant. Family stopped calling. I didn't defend myself. I didn't correct the narrative. I simply kept documenting. There was one night, a party at her sister's house. I sent our daughter a text. "Tell your mom I can't make it tonight." She replied, "She already knows. She's not here. She's with Daniel." But I was there, parked, 3 houses down. I watched her leave in his car. Our daughter had been left alone. I forwarded the message, its metadata, and the timestamp footage to my lawyer. Patterns emerged: underage drinking, missed school pickups, nights out when she claimed to be elsewhere. Still, I waited, said nothing, until court. The trial was never about revenge. It was about revealing the truth in a room that pretended not to need it. She walked in confident. My daughter walked in angry. I recognized her words not as hers, but as echoes, rehearsed lines fed to her by someone who needed to win. "You were never there," she said, with all the pain and power a teenager can summon. That's when I laid down the photograph, a single street cam still dated, time-stamped. It showed my daughter, 16, stepping out of Daniel's car at 3:17 a.m. on a school night, in front of a liquor store, in her hand a brown paper bag. Her mother had sworn under oath she was chaperoning a school function that evening. My daughter gasped, "That's from the night I," and then stopped. The air shifted. The silence became suffocating. The judge didn't ask a single question. He looked at the bailiff, who nodded. Officers were called. My ex-wife was quietly escorted from the courtroom. No shouting, no dramatics. Custody was reevaluated. Support was frozen. The mask she wore online slipped away without a single word from me. She tried to rebuild, reached out, sent messages, tried to explain, but I never answered. I never corrected her lies to others. I didn't need to. The silence did what words never could. My daughter doesn't live with me. She lives with her. At now, we speak, sometimes, slowly, carefully. She doesn't call Daniel Dad anymore. She doesn't call me that either. But there's a shift in her voice now. She knows. Not because I told her, but because of everything I didn't say. I live in a smaller house these days. Fewer rooms, more quiet. Every photograph on the walls is one I chose, and none of them lie, and no one is laughing anymore.